Hello, everybody. Hello, Carol Garcia. Nice to see you there, Darren. A little twisted. Amy. And how are you doing there, ma'am?
I'm doing fine, Riz. It's been a busy week. I mean, the time just goes flying. I can't believe it's Thursday night already. I'm like, wow, here we go again, right?
No, right?
Yeah. And how you doing? Want to tell old folks how you been? I know a lot of people are
You
praying
know,
for
I
you and
just,
sending
I
good
just
energy.
cannot kick it. I don't know what it is, but I'm still underneath the weather. But it's getting a little bit better. How you doing, Roger? But it's just, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
All right. Well, we'll definitely ask everybody to keep on sending those prayers and good mojo energy your
Absolutely. Thank
way.
you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I thought tonight one of the topics that was coming to mind a lot was just about balance and how do we balance our spiritual selves in the world that we live in. And one of the things that I had talked about way back is I had written this one book called The Creative Not Now, and this I wrote probably, oh man, I don't know, what was it, 8, 10 years ago, something like that. I should look at the thing. I don't remember, a while back, but 2018. Okay, so I wrote this just first to learn how do I write a book, right? How to get it like from your head into your hands, right? What the process was. But I kept realizing that there were repeat patterns and repeat messages that came up time after time after time with life coaching for different people. And it seemed like balance, and specifically 5 main areas of balance in our life, were really important to talk about in order to have a good quality and a richness of the quality of our life. And so those 5 areas were finances, health, relationships, spirituality, and time. And so I just wrote a tiny bit about each of those. And this is out on Amazon. It's like $5. It's a little teeny primer. I basically say, hey, it's your bathroom book. In one good sitting, you can get through the whole thing, right? Or you just can look at a chapter at a time and, just ponder a little bit on each one. But it just struck me again this week that it's worth revisiting some of the points there about how do we make sure we have balance in our life, because like anything else, if we're not paying attention to something, we're not paying attention to it, right? It's not just going to magically happen on its own. Where our thoughts flow, energy goes. And if we're not thinking about how do I stay balanced in my world and in my life, and how do I look at all these different aspects to see like which ones am I paying too much attention to and which ones aren't even on my radar, how do I address that and start to massage all that? And part of what kicked that into motion, and I was sharing this with you earlier, Grizz, was on Wednesday I woke up and pretty much for the last, I would say, maybe 4 to 6 months, pretty religiously, whenever I'm home in town, not traveling, I go swimming 3 times a week, typically Monday, Wednesday, Friday, first thing in the morning. And it's one of the few exercises that I can actually do well. And I swim for about an hour and I do a whole bunch. I do like 34 laps, really push myself during that time. But my body can handle it, right? My knees that can't do a lot of weight bearing exercise can handle being in the pool. And I feel really good after all that movement. And it sets my day up for success. It sets my day up for, okay, I'm getting stuff done. I feel better. I'm moving better. And just that whole exercise gets, I think science will tell you, gets endorphins going and all kinds of good things happening in the brain as well, which is why exercise is usually recommended. Anyway, so I wake up on Wednesday morning and I had to get up earlier because the school kids were coming to use the pool, just like infringing on the last maybe half hour of when I normally swim. And so I had to get up early. So I'm laying in bed going, it's not even light yet. And I'm like, oh man, I'm so flipping tired. I don't want to do this. Nobody would fault me for not swimming today because 100 kids are coming and taking over the pool and I just don't want to deal with it. And it's early. And I mean, I was like the biggest whiny baby in my own head, as you can imagine, just because I was so tired. And I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sleep in, right? And I'm laying there. I'm like, no, you're not going to sleep in. This is not negotiable. This is something you have promised to yourself that you're going to do. Get your butt out of bed, woman, and drag yourself if you have to that pool and throw yourself in it and get it done. Right. So I did that. And when I was there, since I was there early, I met this woman and we started chatting, and she is into crystals and minerals, and she was like fascinated that I had mined crystals all these years. And she's been to Arizona a lot where I teach different retreats, and she's into all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I met a new friend because I pulled myself out of bed and forced myself. So I think spirit was rewarding me, like, you were a good girl. Okay, we're going to give you something for doing what you were supposed to do. But the point was, because I've been out of balance with not getting enough sleep and being so tired, I almost caved on something that I had said, nope, I'm going to do this, on something that I know is good for my body, is good for balance in other parts of my life. I was going to say, nope, I'm just sleeping in. And I think in a lot of different areas in my life, and I'm throwing this out there because maybe this applies to you and some of the viewers here, that we rationalize and justify and make excuses for not following through with things that we promise ourselves that we're going to do. And now, let's face it, stuff happens, right? There's really legitimate reasons sometimes that we get distracted, or something else takes a priority, or there is something beyond our control that happens. Like, I'm sure, Grizz, you had a whole list of stuff you were going to get done in these last couple of weeks, and you're lucky if you managed to get a handful of them done instead of the whole list, because you're truly battling something that's requiring you to rest and take care of yourself more than take care of the outer stuff, right? So when those things happen, it's not so much a choice or a volition that you have to, there's things you have to do to take care of yourself. So that got me thinking a lot about balance, and that kind of circled me back around to the old book of mine that's sitting out there on Amazon. And I thought, let's dedicate an episode to talking about balance and making that be top of mind. And obviously, if there's questions about anything else that's happened in the last week, or if there's a topic somebody wants to talk about, I'm always open to that. I guess before I dive into the balance, let's get our reading for the day, because I did pray and ask Spirit for some guidance, and I picked some angel cards and oracle cards. And so I'll go through those, and then I'll dive into the different parts of balance. Sound like a plan?
Absolutely.
All right. So the first angel card that I chose for today was understanding. Your angel guidance is to examine yourself and your current situation in depth, so that you have a clear awareness of the underlying reasons for any of your challenges and situations. Acquainting yourself with the facts about the situations and your attitudes is helpful before you take decisions. Self-awareness is a necessary foundation on which to build strong relationships, friendships, and work. Understanding your personality is a basis for understanding part of your spiritual self and your mission here on earth. Remember to ask your angels to help you. So, yeah, especially that last part about understanding that our personalities were designed for a reason that's in alignment with our soul's purpose. And it's also a result of our experiences in our life, and what, it's the old nurture versus nature, right? Our nature is our genetics, what we came in programmed with, and that balance. I love it. Yeah, I can do that. And the other part is, what has our life experiences taught us and helped to develop and shape our personality? And ideally, you're the perfect you for who you need to be right now to do the things that your soul and spirit want and need you to do. You have all the tools, you have all the character traits. I would not be a good public speaker if I was shy. I'm not shy, right? I'm very extroverted. I've had opportunities to learn how and experiences to be in front of large groups of people speaking. And so to me, I feel intimate talking to however many hundreds and hopefully thousands one day people are watching this as I am one-on-one conversations with somebody sitting in the same room with me, right? So my personality over the years got honed and crafted that I feel very comfortable regardless of the size of the audience of the person I'm engaged with or the people that I'm talking to, right? For other people, they'll say, oh my God, one of my greatest fears in life is public speaking. Don't make me talk in front of strangers, right? And I mean, they're literally like shaking, like, oh my God, that would be a horrible thing for them. So we all develop different attributes and characteristics and life experiences that help build up what we need so that we're ready to really step into the shoes of the people that we're becoming based on our soul's desire and the fulfilling the full measure of our creation. The next card I chose today in our angel deck is joy. And that's always a fun one, right? It reminds us here that joy is the highest energy of all. It's the magical sense that everything and anything is possible. Joy springs forth appreciating the gift. Joy springs from appreciating the gifts within each moment, and joy allows you to attract and create your present and future moments at their highest possible levels. So yeah, being joyful, that's for a lot of us, that's one of the missing ingredients in our life for a long time. We can be very successful, very efficient. We can have a lot of aspects of our life moving and grooving and flowing. But if we don't have joy, we're missing a key component to the expression of our soul and to the expansion of our consciousness and awareness. So finding the things that bring us joy can definitely help to accelerate everything else we're trying to manifest or do. Okay, and then the third card I chose is an oracle card called Inspiration. And this says, your thoughts and feelings are being lifted to greater spiritual heights. Remember to act upon your ideas. Your flashes of insight can be inspirational. So what is inspiration? Those are those ideas and things that kind of come out of the blue, those thoughts that pop into your awareness that get you excited because it's like, oh, that's the answer, or that feels right, or there's an attraction to move into that direction and to do those things. So understanding joy and inspiration, these are all really very positive attributes and things that we can aspire to having more and more of in our life, understanding of our life, our role, as well as having understanding and compassion for others, being a source of joy for others and having joy in our own lives, and being inspired ourselves and then turning that around and hopefully being an inspiration to others, right? We all need somebody to be an exemplar, somebody to show the way. And even if the showing the way is, how do I get out of this quicksand? How do I find my way out of this dark hole, right? So the inspiration can be this high, lofty, elevated, how can I move from this level of good to great? Yeah, awesome. But sometimes we just have to get from stuck to unstuck. And that inspiration is totally wonderful to share with somebody else. Because let's face it, I don't know anybody who has not been stuck at some point in their life and had to figure out, okay, what do I do? How do I get unstuck from this? And it can be something even as simple as, my car is stuck because it's in the snow and the ice and the back wheels are turning. And they're like, oh crap, how do I get out of here? Right? You need help, right? And that's one of the beautiful realizations that we have, that we can have, is we're not alone here, guys. That's part of the reason we do these shows, that we ask you to get involved on the chats and put your comments in there and ask your questions and share your thoughts, because we are all part of this community of souls that have come together to share common experiences and to help each other figure out, how can we be the best possible version of ourselves going forward? How can we make sure we're living purpose-driven lives and fulfilling the mission that our soul said, okay, you're going down to earth. Here's what we want you to do. And, we have this veil of forgetfulness, which makes it much more challenging. It's like, yeah, give me the roadmap, give me the blueprint. Oh, I'm supposed to do this, check, this, check, this, check. Yeah, we don't get that, right? We got to figure it out. That's part of the fun. And that's our free will and free choice. Because if we just had a checklist and we walked our whole life with, okay, I'm supposed to look for this guy to marry. Oh, here he is, check. Oh, I'm supposed to have 2.3 kids and 5 dogs, check, whatever, right? You're like, what is this? We don't want that. We want that freedom to explore and have the fun. All right. I picked 3 tarot cards, past, present, future. So past, so this is really interesting when you see what these cards are, guys. The first one, the past says, it's the 6 of Swords, is that we, for the most part, let too many people, their drama, their trauma, their being out of balance, rock our boat. It's like we take on or allow them to put their swords in our boat and to make holes in our boat, and not necessarily sink it, but water. We have to bail as well as figure out, navigate where we're going, right? And so in the past, a lot of us had that, I don't know if it's a habit so much as a tendency to, because we care about other people and we want to help, we would take things on. And what Spirit's saying is, okay, that's in your past. Now we have to adjust. Now we have to be much more like the Queen of Rods. And what is the Queen of Rods about? She is all about intuition, being in the right place at the right time. And remember, we talked about intuition multiple times. It's not just that airy-fairy feeling. Intuition is the convergence of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're knowing. Having congruence between your mind, your heart, and your gut, right? So when you do that, that gives you the sense to know, okay, it's appropriate to help this person in this way, in this moment. It's appropriate to say no or not now. It's appropriate to come up with a creative solution. It's appropriate to have tough love. It's appropriate to not get involved, right? You'll know what the right thing to do is. So you're not going to get stuck in the old pattern of the past of having other people's drama, trauma, and stuff derail you and may add extra burden onto your trip. And then the future, I love, because it says, if you do that, if in the now you really become that master of intuition and have that congruity between your mind, your heart, and your gut, then you can become the Queen of Pentacles. And this is our queen of luxury, of balance. She is the one that has total balance in her life. And it's the total springboard for what I wanted to talk about tonight, which is balance. And she just happened to be the card that came up. Just happened, right? Spirit is amazing sometimes. So we'll get into that in a moment. I did also, as I usually do, I like to just crack the book open and ask for something from The Portal to Potential, because that's the book that came with channeled inspiration that came through. So I came to a page. It's a cute page here with a little puppy in there. It's readiness is a function of awareness, willingness, action, and preparation. Stop your self-judgment and doubt. Focus on love and your desire to know and to be more. Serve the highest callings of your soul. Be joyful and grateful for the you that you are right now. In this moment, express appreciation for all that came before and for all that will come from the results of your choices and actions now. This is the only moment that matters. So fill it with love, gratitude, and joy. An expanded state of being is familiar because it is you at your best, you at your brightest, you closest to the fullness you know on some level of being, the fullness of the one, the all. You are a channel through which many blessings can flow. So I thought those were all great reminders and also a nice segue as well into the topic of balance and kind of going through. So before I do that, anything you'd like to add, Grizz, or anything anybody else has popped up that I should know about before I dive into the balance stuff?
Just a few questions. You want to take them now or wait till later?
We can take them first. Sure.
Robert Robert says, my point is, do you adopt angels or do they adopt you?
Um, adopt is an interesting word. I think we call it, well, first I know we come with our own little posse of angels, right? We have our own spiritual team that we're born with. We have our guardian angels, and we have other ones that are around us for different times, right? You can consider them guides or angels. Some are meant to help teach us, to heal us, to guide us, to prompt us, to help us in different capacities. I do believe that we have the right and the ability to call on angels and invite them to come with us, to come be a part of our life. I don't think they come and they latch on, like, it's not like adopting a dog that's going to be with you for the next, 12 or 15 years of its life, right? That angel that you call in might come for a season, a certain period of time, a certain project, a certain situation that needs help. And it can be, they don't need to be hanging out with you. They can come in that moment. Like, there's angels of parking, right? You need that good parking space. Well, before you leave the house, kind of, hey, angel of parking, I'm going to be going there. Can you please make sure there's a handicapped space somewhere near the front for me, or whatever, because I drive handicapped vehicles. So in my case, so you can do that. There is at least one angel that is your guardian angel that is assigned with you from before birth, even from, I think, probably the moment of conception, to make sure, like, they're probably trying to influence your parents and to create the place that you're going to be born into and the situation you're born into. And I think they're there to watch over you from that point through to the whole rest of your life. And then when it comes time to cross back over the veil, they're kind of like the escort, the tour guide. Okay, I'm coming to this side of the veil. I need that tour guide. So that angel is with you from the moment you leave that spiritual realm, pass through the veil of forgetfulness. Okay, now you're on this side. You have that angel with you, and that they are assigned to you. You're that aspect, that teammate is part with you. But as far as other angels, I believe that you can call them in. You can have a whole slew of them at various times. You're really battling the forces of evil. You can call in the armies of angels to come and help with whatever it is that you're doing, especially if you're doing work for the light, you're doing work to help others, you're doing work to heal. There are specific healing angels and archangels. I mean, there's books and gosh, you can Google the heck out of all these different ones. Certain ones are for different, certain named angels are good for different things. For example, Archangel Uriel is known for teaching. So if you're in wisdom, so if you're trying to learn something new, and or if you are a teacher, inviting the presence of Archangel Uriel and knowing that he's on the golden ray, a yellow ray, and that vibration, that high golden vibration, that crown chakra vibration might be useful, right? Archangel Raphael is one that's very useful for healing and helpful that way. Anyway, so you can look for different ones, but you don't necessarily even have to know their names, right? That are there. You can just say, please, I need an angel of healing. I need an angel to help me with this, that, or the other thing. There's as many angels as there are reasons to be one, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, but the bottom line is you definitely have one that's assigned to you. And then you also have spirit guides that, whether you want to consider them angels, benevolent interdimensional beings, loved ones in spirit, you have guides that are also with you, and they come and go, again, also with phases of your life, but they might be with you for years at a time, right? So like when you first open up to your spiritual development and psychic development, you may have a set of guides that are there to help you navigate through that. One might be what we call like the guardian at the gate, to make sure that only positive energies come through to work with you when you're new and just learning, so you don't wind up making a critical error and getting involved in something that you're not ready for. Let's just put it that way. So as far as then later on, maybe you kind of shift, or you're like, okay, I'm done with that phase. I'm not actively working, healing people anymore. I'm kind of shifting more into a teaching mode. Well, those angels that would assist me when I'm healing others don't need to be hanging out with me, because I'm not I'm not working on my massage table. I'm not having clients come for Reiki sessions. I'm not having people come for crystal alignments or energy chakra balancing like I was. I did that for years, and I had clients a steady stream, and I would ask for clients, the angels. Well, I haven't been doing that part of my work. It's evolved into more of the teaching than the hands-on healing. So I don't need those angels anymore with me, right? So I free them up to go help somebody else who's doing more of the hands-on work and is day-to-day working with the higher vibration teaching healing guides on a informational level. Need to know in order to heal them. What are the messages that I can share that can come through me that will give guidance and comfort and insight and direction to people to help heal their lives and heal their relationships and uplift their spirits and bring more joy into their life and purpose to their soul, right? So that's what I'm about now. So the posse that's around me in spirit is a lot different now than it was 20 years ago, when I was much more of a practitioner interacting with people on a regular basis for the healing stuff, as well as doing the psychic readings and whatnot. Does that make sense?
Yes. The next one, are we a group of angels that use humans to relate?
Are we a group of angels? I do believe that in essence, we're all angels in disguise, because we came from the spiritual plane ourselves and we kind of put on that veil of forgetfulness. And at our core, we have that spiritual angelic nature to us that we can express. And that does come out, and some people just tend to be like, times have you said, oh my God, she's such an angel, or he's an angel, right? He's just, they have this sensibility about them that they're so loving, to be in the right place at the right time to help you just when you need it and just the way that you need it, right? So I do think that we can be those ministering angels to each other. And I do think that many of us are angels in disguise, that we're forgetting about our spiritual nature and birthright as being part of that oneness in order to have the experiences we're having here and to be making those rewards and having the opportunity to learn and develop. So that's kind of where that's going. Quick technical question for you there, Grizz. On my comment stream, I'm not seeing the stuff that's coming up that you're putting up.
Yeah, because it's coming off another channel.
The last one I see is one at 6:01.
Yeah, it's coming off another channel.
No worries.
So the other question
we have another source. All right. I just didn't know whether
is it possible, maybe that's why angels come from all over the galaxy to find love.
Oh, sure. You know what? I think partly, the earth is very unique in a lot of ways as far as the resources that we have. We have the ability, because we're taking on the physicality, to be able to have different experiences, including the profound ability to love on the physical level and to express that love in a lot of different ways than we can do in spirit. And so I do agree that this is some place that they're there. Appointed. Yeah. So as far as the angels being appointed, there's at least one guardian angel that is assigned. You use the word appointed. I use the word assigned. But I had that. Yeah. And as far as when you're going through some kind of life change or a crisis or a trauma or drama, it is very common to perceive and feel the angels around you, the loved ones in spirit, the guys, everybody coming, your posse coming close to you to help you and to uplift you and to help carry you through those really difficult, challenging moments and times. All right. So I'm going to jump into balance. Let's see. Any other questions?
Yeah. Kathleen says, I'm going through a tough time, but I do feel spirits around me stronger now but I see black shadows at the corner of my eye sometimes, and I feel a presence at odd times.
Yeah. So what you're feeling close to you is those loved ones in spirit, the guides that work with you, the angels that work with you, and the fringes. That's part of what they're trying to keep at bay, especially when you're more vulnerable and going through challenges with health issues, going through challenges. So one of their jobs, is that guardian of the gate, right? To keep you protected from any negative, lower vibrational type forces that are out there. So we might perceive them in the corner of our eyes. We might see them in the peripheral of the room. What you can do is you can ask it very simply. I mean, a prayer that I say before I even start any show or any session is I call out to those who guide and love me from above for guidance, protection, and connection. And I ask that the energies around me be of the highest vibration and light. And then I continue on with whatever specific situation is. So if I'm going to be doing a reading, I'll ask that the information that comes be clear and specific and as detailed as possible so that I can help the person that I'm working with, etc. And then I give thanks and gratitude for Spirit's presence and for the opportunity to be of service. Again, right? So that's part of what I pray for. But that whole thought of I want to create this energy field of the highest vibration and light around me, so that light just pushes away anything that might be around. If you're perceiving it, you can say something like that kind of a prayer where you're asking for the help of those who guide you from. So you don't have to call them angels or loved ones in spirit or benevolent interdimensional beings or aliens or whatever. You don't have to name them. You just call out, hey, whoever's out there who cares about me and is here and able to help, come on down, right? You call for them and they'll come, right? Ask them to create an energy field around you and to deal with that. And especially if you're like, hey guys, I'm perceiving that there's like, there's some kind of King Tom outside my door, turn the floodlights on, please, so that he'll go away. They'll do that, right? So if you're getting that sense of there's darkness in the periphery or there's something, oh shit, what am I going to do about it? Oh, sorry, I got to watch my language. Give yourself permission to ask for help and clear that out. There's just like, if you I live on a farm. And my closest neighbor is a half a mile away, right? A fairly rural, dark. Well, now that I'm living alone, I made sure I got motion detector cameras and motion detector lights that go on if it's anything bigger than a bunny, walking around, right? So this way, I don't have to worry or think, is there something creepy there in the darkness? I don't have to worry about it, because if there is anything in that darkness, the light will come. And if it's not supposed to be there, if it's not a deer munching on an apple, it's going to go. It's going to be like, oh, wait, there's light here. It's not a dark house. It's not vulnerable. Oh, wait, there's the light. Light will always shatter the darkness. And so you need to just do whatever is easiest for you to call upon the light, to create the light, to fill your world with light, to fountain it out, to push it out, expand it out like a giant bubble around you. And as you take an in-breath in, you just feel that energy, that golden white light. And when you breathe out, just put this wonderful bubble of light and energy around you and ask for help. If you're feeling sick and tired or depressed or overwhelmed, sometimes that's hard to do for yourself. That's where you call and ask for help. Ask for that guide. Ask for that guardian angel. Ask for a friend, a physical friend. Hey, by the way, help me. I want to clean my house. I want to smudge my house. I want to get positive energy and vibration here. Help me. Okay, they will, right? So sometimes we have to kind of take the bull by the horns, right? And say, yeah, I'm not just going to sit here in fear. Light will dispel the fear. Knowledge dispels the fear, right? Help dispels the feeling of alone, which brings on that sense of fear sometimes. All right. Any other comments? just Chris,
No,
before
it's
I
it
jump
for
into
now.
balance?
It's it for
Okay, cool
now.
beans. All right. So there's 5 main areas in life that are really essential to have balance if you want to have a richness in the quality of the experience of the life you're living. Right. So the first one, we are worldly. We have to think about finances, right? You need to have enough money to live at whatever level of comfort you want or enjoy or need. You need to make sure if you have debt that you are working a little bit towards paying that off. You want to make sure you have enough money for the now. And you also want to be planning for the future, right? So I know this is a challenge I've had with several younger people that I was coaching is they're like, I don't, tomorrow will take care of itself. I'm living for now, right? And they'll use their credit card and they'll build up some debt and they're like, okay, I'll worry about paying off the debt. But they're much more concerned about just what can they have right now. And to me, I'm like, that's a little short-sighted because as time goes by, it's like you're paying a lot more for whatever it is you're doing if you're incurring the debt and then stringing that debt along for a long time. And you're also not planning ahead for your future. And, do you have an emergency fund? If you have kids, do you have a scholarship, account? Do you want to ever take a vacation? Do you have a vacation account? Right. So one of the things I used to recommend a lot is the envelope approach, right? So if you say you have $1,000 that comes in on that paycheck, and once you're done paying all the immediate bills that have to be paid to run your household, right? Let's say there's $400 left after you pay the core of those bills. All right, out of that 400, some of that should be designated towards clearing up any past debt. Some of it should be for your future, so your retirement or a vacation or something that's forward thinking. And some of it should be for joy money for right now. Because if you're busting your butt and working really hard and you never get a chance to enjoy some of that money now and do fun things, it's just about paying the bill or covering debt or saving for that rainy day, you're not going to enjoy doing what you're doing and you won't feel happy about what you have with your life. So you want to make sure that with their finances that they're at a place where you want, where it makes sense. Then next, okay, somebody has a question. I asked about the buzzing in my ear.
Yeah, I got it queued for you whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Kim says,
okay, so Kim,
in between wake and sleep last week, my right ear started buzzing, and I heard a man either singing or talking. It was like a different frequency. This week it happened again, and I heard a puppy barking.
Okay, so a lot of times you'll start to hear a buzzing sound or a high-pitched sound or even sometimes a low-pitched tone that you'll perceive for anywhere from a couple of seconds to maybe even a minute. And what that is what I've been told by Spirit, it's kind of like a fine tuning and it's an opening. It's kind of aligning you up to information that's on another dimension or information that's coming through. So in your case, the buzzing, that could be a quickening of opening up your clairaudience. So now you're more able to hear and communicate with those on other planes. And whether it's on the other side of the veil, whether it's on another dimension, if it's a message from Spirit that wants to come through, that's all valid possibilities. Sometimes the high frequency tones and the low tones, I was told, it's like, think of it as a tuning fork for your energy field, and that the forces that work with us that are benevolent will expose our energy field to these different frequencies to help fine tune and help heal or accelerate or quicken different things that need to in order to be helpful for how we're going to serve. The bit about the puppy barking could be could be that spirit wants you to start thinking about animal communication, maybe not only communicating and hearing people on the other side of the veil, but also how would you communicate to lost pets, and that are either lost on this side or ones that have crossed over and have messages for their owners. So whenever you feel buzzing is like a quickening vibration, right? So it has a tone to it, but it has also an energetic component. And sometimes it's more just tonal. Well, you'll hear this high pitched. Some people will describe it like tinnitus, but it only lasts for 3 to 5 seconds at the most. It's not like this a constant ringing in your ears that can be a problem that some people suffer. This is much more of a fine tuning. Think of it as a surgical strike from spirit to address and work on certain parts of your energy field. Does that make sense? Any follow on with that one? Otherwise, we'll jump into the next part of balance, which is health. Now, for me, health, this has a lot of subcomponents, right? And a lot of us probably are, I don't know too many people that say, hey, I'm as healthy as I wanted to be, right? Why? Because health includes so many subcomponents. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough exercise? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting proper nutrition from your foods? Are you supplementing? Are you getting enough sunshine? Are you getting enough fresh air? Are you stretching and being flexible and strengthening your muscles and your physical endurance? And are you doing pampering things for this body that works so hard and serves you, right? So are you taking the baths and the showers and the keeping yourself clean and healthy that way? Are you getting massages and doing things that are pleasurable for your body? That's dancing or having sex or having intimate touch with somebody that just makes you feel good about being alive and in your skin, right? Are you at a weight that you want to be? Are you drinking too much alcohol? Do you have addictive habits of smoking or taking drugs that you shouldn't be taking that are adding negative effects into your energy field, right? So health has so many different components. And then, of course, there's mental health on top of all that. That's a key component of health. So we want to make sure that we're looking at all the different things of what is most successful for you. What helps you be the best, strongest, healthiest version of you that's possible, right? Then we have relationships. That's the next area for balance. And for this one, the rule of thumb I have here is it just should be a balance of give and take. And it doesn't have to be 50-50, because at certain times with a relationship, one party might be giving more and the other one might be receiving more. But if you think about the whole range, it should not be, well, he gives 100%, I give nothing, or she gives 90% and I only give 10%. It should be much closer to 60-40, 50-50 most of the time. And, when somebody's sick, they might be receiving 70 or 80% in that moment. But once they get better, then they're back to contributing and going back and forth. So we have to be very honest with ourselves in relationships and say, all right, I'm giving in this relationship. What am I getting? Or, geez, I'm getting all of this. What am I giving back to these people that are so loving and caring for me? Right? So relationships, you want to make sure that you have this wonderful two-way balance, a sense of gratitude and appreciation for them and for all that they are doing for you. Spirituality is the next area of balance to talk about. And here, spirituality has to do with two major things. One is, are you aware of and in touch with something greater than self? Do you realize that you're part of this amazing puzzle of life, right? That you are so much more than your physical body. That's the first thing. The second part of spirituality that's really critical to make sure it's in balance is, are you expressing the creativity and your soul's purpose? Does it have a voice? Have you found a way to express what your soul wanted to express when it decided to come into physical form and manifested here on earth? So are you living that life that purpose-driven life? And are you aware that you're more than your physical body and you are interconnected and part of something much greater than self? So that's your spirituality balance. Then there's time. Time is the balance of work, rest, and play, right? And this is the one where, again, a lot of us have a huge challenge, right? We're really good with the work part, right? You know, if you look at a day and say, oh, okay, if it's work, rest, and play, and it's 24 hours to each day, in theory, it should be you sleep for and rest for 8 hours, you work for 8 hours, and then you play and do life affirming and fulfilling things for 8 hours. I don't know about you. I don't know very many people that get to play for 8 hours a day, right? Unless you do what your soul's purpose is. And then when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. It almost feels like play because it's so fulfilling with you doing those things. So one of the things that I ask people is when you ask yourself, so out of those 5 areas, finances, health, relationships, spirituality, and time, which one do you feel like you're paying too much attention to? Which ones are you not paying enough attention to? And what do you need to do to kind of get them in balance? Because I can tell you, if you're frustrated in your life, if you feel like you keep hitting a wall in a certain area, at least one of those 5 areas is not getting enough attention. And you need to have those 5 together. It's like spokes of a wheel. And if you want it to turn in your life and feel like you're going somewhere and having good momentum, you need to make sure that you have that sense of balance. One of the other things to think about is the righteousness of spending time on yourself to make sure you are in balance. So let's go back to time for a minute. So, and money, like we can tie in the finances. So a lot of churches will ask you to tithe 10% of your earnings to the church, to God, to give back the first harvest, the first fruits, that sort of thing. So totally fine with that. But how many of those same people tithe to themselves and take 10% of all of their hard-earned money, 10% of their time each week, and give it to themselves to do things that bring them joy, right? So if you look at even like with time, right? All right, so there's, what do we got? I'll grab a little calculator here on this. I'll do a little quick math. So we have our 24 hours times 7. So that's 168 hours. All right. So there's 168 hours in the week. Do you take 10% of your time just for you? That's 16.8 hours. Do you do something that's uplifting and fulfilling and life affirming for you 16 hours a week? That should be the goal, minimum goal, to tithe to yourself 10%. Because if you're not even giving yourself 10% of the hard money that you're working for and 10% of the time that you're investing in working and going forward and doing these things, what's the point of all this hard work? What's the point of everything you're doing if you're not even benefiting from any of it? That's the kind of question you want to step back and say, wait a minute, whose life is this anyhow? If this is my life, shouldn't I be entitled to, at a minimum, 10% of my time, 10% of my earnings, to be focusing on my health and my joy and fun things and my purpose and expressing myself and having that creativity and tending to my body and my health and my relationships and all those other things that help to bring me joy and balance and create that richness in the quality of my life. So one of the ways to help make that happen is put it on your schedule. Don't just say, oh, I'll get around to it. No, literally put on your calendar, this is my 2-hour block of me time each day. And maybe 2 hours a day is too much, but that's to get that 16 hours of you time each week. That would be a little more than 2 hours a day. Start at 5%. Give yourself an hour a day. That's just you time. That's not for the kids. It's not for the dogs. It's not for the bosses or colleagues or anybody else. It's your time. And whether you want to use it to exercise, to take that bubble bath, to get the massage, to play games, to rest, to do whatever brings you, to dance, to garden, whatever it is that brings you joy and makes you feel more at peace and healthier and happier. Those are the things that you want to do. Those are the things that make a big difference and help to create. Remember, you deserve to be the best that you can be. So take the time to look at those different aspects of your life, your finances, your health, your relationships, your spirituality, and your time, and figure out, what do I need to do to fine tune? What do I need to do to make it even better, to supercharge it, and to make it that it really serves me and my life as I'm serving others. So it's spiritually righteous. I mean, we talked about this a little bit before, that in the past, we were always taught, oh, put others first and, get around to yourself later on. But now there's a wisdom that says, you got to fill up your cup first. You need to be the strongest, best possible version of yourself in order to truly make a difference and help others, and to be an inspiration for others, and to be able just to share. If you don't have anything, what do you have to share, right? So it's a noble pursuit to make yourself as competent and educated and prosperous and healthy and balanced as possible, and to express your soul in the most glorious ways that make you feel good and fulfill that sense of purpose in your life as well. So those are the kind of thoughts that have been on my mind. I do want to end with a quick reminder about my Sedona retreat that I'm offering with Craig Janjulis, who's this really cool shaman guy who lives in Sedona most of the year and teaches in Japan the rest of the year. And this is called, the retreat's going to be called Preparing for Ascension. And it's really all about how to spiritual gifts and how to quicken your energy so that you're going to be ready for whatever is coming next. And it's going to be May 16th, 17th, and 18th in Sedona. And if you'd like more information about it, or you want to enroll, go to my website. Information's below there. It's aletheajacob.com. And right on the very first page, it says what's happening soon. Click on that, and it'll bring you to the information about the retreat. So please come join us if you're so inclined. Any other questions pop in?
No, it's been great. It's been fantastic.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, we hope you all feel better. And everybody, remember, send some good energy and prayers and good mojo to Grizz. And so we'll see you next week. Do you have anything you want to promote that's either happening later today or later this week? Any other shows that are happening they should know about?
No, Justin's taking off. He's in Kentucky right now with his fiance, and because they got some medical issues with Jennifer's mom, so they're trying to figure that out. So he's taking off tonight, and tomorrow we got our crime show. So make sure and tune in for that, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, from coast to coast.
All right, then we'll see you. We'll see you next week. Yep. Love y'all. Thanks for joining us. Be kind. Be nice.